Okay, are you guys looking at my blank eclipse? Does that look right? Where are your faces? What did I do to your faces? Hold on. Zoom has betrayed me. Show manage participants. Nope, not that. Show video panel. There you all are. I missed you. Hi, Samuel. Thank you for your smile. Okay, I found you. You're back. It's okay. It's okay. Chat. Okay, I've got all my panels back. Phew. Okay. Wait, am I supposed to be done at 1:15? That's right. That's right. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just like we've been practicing in Eclipse, to make a new class, you say File, New Class, just like that. I'll pause there while you guys do it. I see your focused concentration faces. I appreciate it. You want the name of this project to be MoneyBall, and go ahead and give it a main method. Name it MoneyBall. Go ahead and give it a main method. If you are unable to get the .txt file from chat, you can get it from Schoology, where it's also uploaded. My dog is sleeping right there on the bed in this little guest room, and he is having dreams. He is barking in his sleep. So if you hear like a weird whimpering, my dog is okay. He's given it to some cat in his dream, I'm sure. Okay, so we say finish, and we get a little place for where our code's going to be. That's half the battle. The other half of the battle is we have to pull up our downloads and find baseballstats.txt. So hopefully you downloaded that. With Eclipse in the background and your baseballstats.txt, you just click and drag it, not into the source folder. You're going to drag it into the project folder. So watch me do it one time, and then you can do it. I drag it. Whoops. I drag it. There we go. I drag it up on top of chapter 6, and I let go. And then I say, okay. It's asking me right there if I want to copy or link. We always say copy. And if you do that correctly, it should pull up baseballstats.txt, just like that. Okay, when you've got those two parts done, throw me a thumbs up in camera or throw me an emoji thumbs up, one of the two. Nice.
Wait, I just forgot. Do we do copy or link?
Copy. Good question. Nice. Looks like we're 40% of the way there. Throw me a thumb when you're ready. Nice. 50, 60. Oh, wow. Yeah, you guys did great. You guys did great. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, let's do it. First two lines of code are going to be very familiar. I'm going to say file F equals new file. What's the name of my file? Put is a string. The name of my file is baseballstats.txt. And he pauses while his students code it in on their page. Hey, Catherine, would you help Freya get ready for her Zoom, please? It's 9 till. She's got 9 minutes till 1. Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to scan that file. Scanner file reader equals new scanner. What are we scanning? We're scanning the file. And he pauses while his students type that in. Okay. There are a couple of things that Eclipse is willing to help with. We're going to take their help. We hover over File, and Eclipse says, I don't know what file is. Did you mean to import file from the IO library? And we say, we sure did, Eclipse. Thanks for your help. And we click on the option that we know works. We're not randomly guessing, and we're not picking any help that we couldn't code ourselves. So we click that, and it imports file, and then we're good. Then it says, what scanner? Did you want scanner from java.util? And we say, yeah, Eclipse. That'd be great. Would you give me that? And we click on the option that we know works for us. Then it says, whoa, 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 you're trying to read from a file. Did you want me to check that exception for you and import that exception? And we say, sure thing, Java or Eclipse. Would you mind doing that for me? And kablamicus. And he pauses while the students use Eclipse's help to import those three things. Cool. Okay. Now we're going to consume this information using a line-based processing technique. The information that we're given in baseball stats over here comes in the following format. We're given a name, at-bats, hits, walks, and salary. We are always given those same 5 pieces of information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a while loop that will pull out individual lines, and then we're going to consume those lines. So I'm going to say while file reader dot has next line. Hey, if there's another line there, then you can proceed to loop. And in the loop, I'm going to grab a line. I'm going to say string line equals file reader dot next line. If you've tuned me out, I would say tune back in, because this little 1-2 punch that I've put on the screen right now, that's the code of the day. That's the big idea. Sometimes it's easier to consume things line by line than it is token by token. So now I want to break that line up into chunks. So I'm going to feed it to its own scanner. I'm going to call it scanner line parser equals new scanner. And what's it scanning? It's scanning the line. Now I can go about the business of pulling out the 5 parts of each player. So every time this while loop runs, it's going to look at a new player. First time through, we're checking out Swag. Second time through, I'm checking out Ibarra, right? Samuel, do you have a question?
Yeah, Eclipse is acting a bit weird.
Was that describe it?
It's given me an error for the I in import.
For the I in import? Is it asking for a package?
Yes.
Are you using Package Explorer instead of the File Navigator?
Packages Explorer?
Here, look on my screen for a second. I want you to see if you can go Windows, Show, View, Navigator. Did you find it?
No.
Did you find the window menu?
Yes.
Did you find Show View?
Yes.
Did you find Navigator?
No.
Are you sure it's not on the list at all?
Yeah. It shows ant, bookmarks, error log, outline, problems, progress, project explorer, properties, tasks, and
You have a different version of Eclipse. Okay, we'll do this one thing, and if this doesn't work, I got to get back to the main lesson. But head over. You have something that says like Package Explorer over here on the left with the files.
Yeah.
Does it say the name of your package?
Default package?
All right, so you might be able to say it'll either be package default package, maybe like that, or like that, or hang on one second, I'm gonna look something up. Thanks for your patience, everybody. We're almost there. Man, come on. There's a way to say that your program will accept the default package. And I'm just looking up the syntax. You might just try package default semicolon up here and see if that does it.
Invalid name.
Dang it. Okay, you're going to be out of luck. I would say write the code along, and then you and I can work after class to fix it, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we've got the line. Remember, every time we go through the loop, we're going to be looking at a new player. First time through is Swag, next time through is Ibarra. And every time we loop, we need to get out the 5 pieces of information. So I'm going to say string name equals line parser dot next. So name, this is going to represent information of current player. Information of current player. Next, we got to get out the number of at-bats. So I'm going to say int at-bats equals line parser dot next int. And I'm actually going to take a moment here to highlight line parser dot next int because I know it is a piece of code that I'm going to use 3 more times. So I'm going to copy it. So I'll be able to paste it in a few more lines of code that I have. Then I'm going to take in the int hits. This is the number of hits the player got. And I'll paste in line parser dot next int. It's okay if your navigator says deprecated as long as it's still working. Then we say int walks equals line parser dot next int. And we're going to get the last piece of information, int salary. Now we're ready to do the math that we need to do to determine how effective each of these baseball players are and which one of them is most worth their salary. And there's 2 pieces of data I'm going to calculate, and I'm going to leave them as comments up here. One is batting average, which is described as hits divided by at-bats. The second one I'm going to calculate is on-base percentage, which, if we're being technical, is hits plus walks divided by plate appearances. But I'm just going to offend the baseball players in Zoom right now and say that it's hits plus walks divided by at-bats. I know that's incorrect, and we're all just going to have to learn to deal with it. I suppose you can get plate appearances by going at-bats plus walks. Is that right? Is there a baseball player in here? Did I just make my on-base percentage formula correct if I do that? It doesn't seem like anybody cares, so I'm going to leave it with the formula that I know works, and I won't poke a bear that is currently sleeping. The third thing I want to calculate is value, and I'm going to let us decide what we think value is later. Is it the most hits for the least dollars? Is it the person that makes less than $1 million that has the best on-base percentage? We can calculate that later. But let's go back into this while loop. We've got all this data. It seems like we're ready to do the math to calculate this player's batting average and on-base percentage, both of which are represented with a decimal number, so we got to use a double. So I'm going to say double batting average is going to be equal to hits over at-bats. And before I proceed, does anybody see a logic error that I might have accidentally just created right there? What concern should I have when I'm doing this?
If they never have any at-bats, you're dividing by 0.
Man, there were 2 really good questions got brought up right at once. One, what happens if at-bats is 0? Thankfully, I can guarantee there's no 0 numbers in there. Otherwise, that would stink. The other one is, James said, what happens if they're both ints? Do you guys remember what happens? If those are both ints, what's the danger? It's not accurate because it's going to do integer division. If hits is a number smaller than at-bats, it's just going to round it down to 0. So we need one of these to get cast to a double. Whoa, what did I do? We need to get one of these cast to a double. And now, once hits gets turned into a double, and we say a double divided by an int, we will implicitly cast the whole thing to a double. So let's just make sure that we get an accurate number. Okay, now I'm going to do double for on base percentage will just be OBP. And we're going to say, all right, cast to a double, hits plus walks divided by at-bats. Hits plus walks divided by at-bats. I have to wrap everything in the numerator in a parentheses, otherwise the division would happen first, right? And I need hits plus walks to happen before I divide by at-bats. And that's it. That's all the data that player needs. Elise has asked a super important question. Elise said, wait, you said that sometimes we need a second while loop. And Elise, you would be correct. The only reason I'm not using a second while loop in this code is because the number of tokens on each line is exactly the same. It's always 5 tokens. It's always in the same correct order. Whereas when we were doing the time card problem, different employees worked different numbers of shifts. And so I could not count on there being the same number of tokens on each line. So I had to use a second while loop. That's the difference. Super duper smart question. Very proud of that question. Okay, well now we got to figure out which of these people is the best. Is it Blarmain? Is it Wargare? Wargare, that's such a good name. Is it Blarun Pole? I don't know. So let's go ahead and prime our while loop. Let's say we're going to need the name of the person with the best batting average. So I'm going to say best BA name is for best batting average name. We'll just make that an empty string for right now because we don't know who that is. And then I'm going to make a double for best batting average. And we'll start that out as 0.0 because you can't get worse than 0. So this is me priming my loop variables. Who else do we need to remember? Well, we need to remember whoever had the best on-base percentage. What was their name? Oh boy. Best on-base percentage name. We don't know who that is yet. And we're going to ask who had the best on-base percentage. So that's all the loops primed up right there. Okay, then we hop down here at the bottom of our while loop. Okay, we went through all the trouble of we grabbed a line, we stuffed it into a scanner, we used that scanner to split it all apart, get all the data, then we did some calculations on that data, and now we're ready to ask, is this player the best at whatever it is they're doing? And the way we would do that is we would say, all right, look, if the batting average of the current player is better than what we think the best batting average is, then we need to update. we need to say, you know what? The best batting average is now whatever batting average we're currently looking at. Whoever that player is, they got the best average. And what's their name? Best batting average name is equal to whatever the name is of the player we're currently looking at. So remember, every time the while loop runs, we get a new set of all this data. If this data is better, we're going to replace what we've got with this new data. The batting average of the current player is better, then their batting average is the best batting average. Their name is the name of the player with the best batting average. We're going to do the exact same thing with on-base percentage. Sorry, am I going too fast? I'll take a beat. I will slow down. I just get excited sometimes writing code. It's so fun. If the on-base percentage of the current player is better than what we think the best on-base percentage is, did I do that right? I did. Then we know that the new best on-base percentage is whatever our current player's is. And we know that the best on-base percentage player name is whatever our current player's name is. Is that not, did I not call it best OBP? Oh, I forgot to initialize it. That's my bad. There we go. So every player that runs through, we calculate their batting average, we calculate their on-base percentage, and we say, look, are you better than whoever is currently the best at doing that thing? And if you are, we will update our information. Now, once this while loop is done running, it means that we've looked at all the lines. And once we've looked at all the lines, then we are ready to file a report to the Oakland Athletics. And I need to print out a bunch of variables and text, so I'm going to use printf. System.out.printf. Okay, here we go. %s for string, for name. % is the best batting average at, and then I'll put in %f so we can see their batting average for float. So %s will pull in a string for name. %f will pull in a decimal number for float. And so the first thing I put in is name. And then the next thing I'm going to put in is best batting average. Oh, wait, not name, excuse me. It is best batting average name. Okay, there we go. Baseball traditionally only gives its statistics into 3 decimal places, and to make sure this float only shows 3 decimal places, I'm going to put a 0.3 between the % and the F, and that'll say just give me 3 decimal places of this floating number. Okay, then, oh, and I remember that printf doesn't automatically go down to a new line, so I'm going to put a whack n at the end of my string to make sure that we go down to a new line. So the last little bit of that string looks crazy, but I'm really just using the printf placeholder for floats to 3 decimal places and then go down to a new line. All right, I'm going to copy and paste this because it's pretty close to the next line. Oh, geez, the next line that I need. % is the best on-base percentage to 3 decimal places. And this time, I'm going to put in best OBP name and the best OBP. On-base percentage. If I've done this all correct, this should spit out the name of the player with the best batting average and their best, and what the best batting average is. And on the next line, it should say the name of the player with the best on-base percentage and whatever the best on-base percentage is. And I go to run it, and I should get these 2 names. Eblar Tour has a batting average of 0.324. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Zorchuaro has an on-base percentage of 0.995. That feels impossible. That means that on 99.5% of Zorchuaro's at-bats, he's getting a hit or a walk. But it must be that Zorchuaro walks a lot. Let's find Zorchuaro and see if that looks about right. Zorchuaro. Okay, Zorchuaro's right here. his statistics for the last baseball season. He had 187 plate appearances. He only got 11 hits, but he walked 175 times. That means that he only struck out once in 187 plate appearances, if I'm reading that correctly. I think that's pretty funny. My second name code has a red squiggle, and I'm not sure why. Check to make sure, Evelyn, that you initialized all the values up here so that it's empty strings and 0.0s. That's my best guess why that's giving an error. How many of you got Eblar Tour and Zorch Wild? By a show of hands or thumbs up emojis, how many of you were able to follow along? Hey, code. Code is nice. Code is fun.